Which of the following substances is produced in the hypothalamus? And substances here are referring to hormones, which we know regulate different controls that the body needs to do. So maybe they regulate temperature control, glucose levels, different functions that the body needs to survive. Hormones help to balance and regulate those functions. Something also to consider about this question is that it's saying which hormone is produced in the hypothalamus. Because remember, there are some hormones that may be produced in a structure versus secreted from a structure. So production of a hormone means that it is made here, and then secretion would be it being actually excreted out to the body. So I guess an analogy that could work for that would be, imagine someone makes ice cream or to go into a soft serve machine, right? So if you're the person who is making the ice cream, so you have your bowl here, you're mixing the ingredients, you're the person who is producing the ice cream. But then if this ice cream is going into the machine and then you pull the lever for the ice cream to come out, this is where it is being secreted from. So it's being stored and being put to use in this section, in the secretion section, versus the production is where the actual hormone or ice cream is being made to be put to use somewhere else. So that's just something to keep in mind when we're looking at this question. Then also, lastly, what we have to keep in mind is it's saying in the hypothalamus. And the location is very important because different hormones are produced in different parts, different structures. So we need to keep this in mind so we could best answer this question. So we want to know the hormone name that was produced in the hypothalamus. And just of note, just so we understand what the hypothalamus does, the hypothalamus is the structure that is on this chart right here. So hypo is low, below. So it's below the thalamus, which is right above it. We are looking at the hypothalamus. And the hypothalamus is involved in hormone regulation. It controls the pituitary gland and creates a lot of different hormones. And overall, it helps with controlling much of the body's functions. So it helps with temperature regulation, controlling hunger, thirst, sleep cycles. So these are just basic functions that we need in order to survive as people. We need to eat, we need to drink, we need to sleep, control temperature, just to create that balance and homeostasis for survival. The hypothalamus also helps with emotions and behavior regulation, autonomic nervous system regulations, and also sexual and reproductive functions. So now we understand the role of the hypothalamus, and now let's take a look at our choices with our hormones right here and see which one best answers the question of which is produced in the hypothalamus. So option A here is oxytocin, and oxytocin has many different uses. It's used in child delivery, childbirth, by contracting the uterus where the fetus is sitting. Now that it's ready to be delivered, this baby, we're contracting the uterus to help push the baby out. It also is helpful for milk ejection, which is helpful during breastfeeding. So very useful hormone during the process of birthing and taking care of the child afterward. This is in fact produced by the hypothalamus. Be careful because it's not secreted by the hypothalamus. It is released or secreted by the posterior pituitary. However, the question is not asking about secretion, it is asking about production, and it is produced in the hypothalamus, which is what this question is asking. So therefore, we could choose option A. Option B is prolactin, and prolactin is similar to oxytocin because it stimulates milk production in the mammary glands, which is useful for breastfeeding. So similar hormone, but this would not be the correct answer because it's produced in the anterior pituitary. So let's just make note here. This is secreted in the posterior pituitary. Then this prolactin is okay, so we could eliminate that because this question is asking where it's produced from the hypothalamus, and this is not. Option C is thyroxine, which is also known as T4, and this is produced in the thyroid gland. produced in the thyroid gland, and this is useful as your thyroid hormone. So this needs to be secreted so we could regulate our metabolism levels. We don't want our thyroid levels to be too high or too low, and this is very important to maintain balance within the body. Important hormone, but not the correct answer because we're looking for which is produced in the hypothalamus. So we could eliminate that. And then option D is leptin, and leptin helps regulate energy balances by inhibiting hunger. So it prevents you from just eating and eating and eating. And if someone has a hormonal disorder where they are deficient in leptin, then they will likely be eating way too much food than is needed for their body and have difficulty maintaining hunger levels. And this is produced in the fat cells or the adipose tissue. So fat cells / adipose, which is not what this question is asking. It is asking for being produced in the hypothalamus, which leptin is not. So we could eliminate option D, and that leaves us with option A, oxytocin, which is produced in the hypothalamus.